This video has been recorded before Season 2's finale. House of the Dragon has everything it needs to become one of 2024's greatest shows. It features vibrant dialogues, interesting characters, and captivating visuals. However, many fans still consider it an unfulfilled promise because it has a scene writing problem. And just to be sure you know, we love House of the Dragon. We merely intend to point out some of the things the show is lacking. Before we dive in, don't forget to show your support and subscribe for more writing videos. We are the Story Gibbons for Penpipe, and this is how we think you should write a scene. There is a growing fanbase that complains about House of the Dragon's inability to move forward. Some say that the show is too slow. Others dare to say that it is even boring. In any case, with a reduced number of consistently returning viewers, it is obvious that House of the Dragon doesn't fulfill its potential. In our opinion, prolonged scenes like Daemon in Harrenhal are symptoms, not the problem. The real issue could be that House of the Dragon struggles in writing scenes. A scene is usually defined as a distinct part of the narrative that serves a specific function, such as advancing the plot, developing a character, or establishing a setting. A good scene advances the story by intensifying the conflict, changing the momentum of the story, or challenging its direction. Every scene has a setup, a middle point, and a resolution. Here at Penpipe, we refer to the midpoint as the main point, as this is what the scene is trying to achieve and communicate to the audience. Half of the scene's running time is devoted to achieving this point, and the rest of the running time is the result or reaction to the main point. Christopher Nolan mastered this technique with his Dark Knight trilogy. In Batman Begins, after the prologue, the movie opens with a 2-minute scene of an Asian prison camp. The scene begins with Bruce waking up in a dangerous and hostile environment. 1 minute in, at the midpoint of the scene, Bruce engages in a fistfight, redefining the scene's conflict. This changes the story's direction, revealing that Bruce is not in danger. Instead, those around him need protection from him. It is a good scene because it represents a clear connection between the three core elements of the scene. It changed our perspective about Bruce's situation and showcased a clear reaction to the action of the midpoint. Bruce is taken away from the rest of the prisoners. This shift in the momentum is why we represent the structure of a scene with the letter S and define the midpoint as the turning point. And it is here where House of the Dragon might be failing to deliver. If we take the first few scenes from any random episode, we will find that most scenes fail to change the story around them. We chose to examine the first few scenes from episode 7 of season 2, as most agreed was a solid episode with cool moments setting up important things for the finale. This will not be an exhausting analysis, but just a short thought experiment to make a point. The episode begins with a 4-minute scene of Adam meeting Rhaenyra. We already know that Adam serves under House Velaryon and that he is the bastard son of Corlys Velaryon. However, the midpoint of the scene is Adam bowing down before Rhaenyra, and the scene ends with the question, who are his parents? There is no shift in the momentum, no real conflict, no turning point. Next, the show gives us a 1-minute scene of Queen Alicent in medical care. Halfway through, she realizes that nothing is clean in King's Landing and decides to leave. This scene does have a turning point, but Alicent encounters no conflict as she no longer influences the overarching story. Then we have another 2-minute scene that begins with Aemon banishing soldiers from the King's Guard to the Wall. The midpoint retells rumors of an unknown dragon rider the audience already met, followed by nothing, as nobody acts on that information. In this scene, the setup has no connection to the midpoint, aside from showing us that people are afraid of Aemon, which we already know. By this point, we are already 10 minutes into the episode, and it already feels like we are treading mud. This impression is not corrected by the next small council scene, in which Rhaenyra's lords still don't know who the rider is, and therefore reject the idea of his training. This, of course, does not change the direction of the story, as the princess's hand is ensuring she gets what she wants with little resistance. Like Daemon in Harrenhal, we're stuck in an everlasting loop, hoping for a payoff that may or may not come at this episode. In other words, if our characters do not change, it is not a good scene. If our perspective or the situation does not change, it is not a good scene. If the momentum does not change, it is not a good scene. If we learn nothing new, it is not a good scene. If it is not an S-shaped scene, it is not a good scene. House of the Dragon writers seem to not want to begin an episode or a scene with a dramatic high-energy setup. They don't change the momentum of the story halfway through the scene's runtime, they don't always offer a reaction to the midpoint's action, and they don't intensify the tension by piling conflicts one on top of the other. Cobra Kai, however, does just that. We actually made a video that examines Cobra Kai. Make sure to check out the video and subscribe before you leave.